Welcome to the next lesson. Now, this lesson is about virtual tour, and just to tell you why do we have virtual tours? I think you already know about the fact that we have virtual tours in all of our games. Without a virtual tour, there is absolutely no point on creating any game. So, because the child would not understand. So, why do we have virtual tour? First of all, what is a virtual tour? I think you have to understand what is a virtual tour so that there is absolutely no confusion in your mind as far as what does a virtual tour mean. Let me again show you on comparison creators. Uh, what do we do? What do we mean when we say we need to have a virtual tour? In any moment, the game will load, and then you will be able to see what do I mean when I say you must have virtual tours. So, see, this is a virtual tour. Just before the game begins, you're showing symbols less than equal to. It's basically like a way to understand how to play this game for the child. If you don't do that, the child will not understand how the game is to be played. So, a virtual tour is nothing but this hand symbol that you see is now going ahead and just dragging and dropping in front of the child. And then there are two questions that we ask at the end of the virtual tour, which is okay, continue or listen again. If I do listen again, then again the same virtual tour will be playing for the child. Now, this kind of virtual tour is mandatory, and I repeat, it is mandatory for us to have in any game, because if you do not do a virtual tour, if you do not put a virtual tour, there is absolutely no point in creating this game, because the child will not be able to understand how to play it. So now, if you do this virtual tour, and at the same time, since I use the word listen, because there is a voiceover which is also telling drag the numbers like this and compare these two numbers by dragging these symbols. This is what the voice is saying when the hand is moving across the screen. So that is called a virtual tour, and after that, now it is easy for you to understand, for the child to understand what is to be done. Now, imagine if there were no virtual tour and you just saw the screen when the game started. How would you even understand what is to be done? So it is extremely important for us to have a virtual tour. So helps the child understand what's to be done. So that's why we have virtual tour. The otherwise, the child will completely get confused on how the game is to be played. Always use the hand clip art. Always use the hand clip art. What is a hand clip art? You can actually call it a tap hand tap clip art as well. Hand tap clip art is the same symbol that we use quite often when we have. So this is that symbol. You can use this one, you can use this one, you can use this one, whichever one in your PPT. It's just there to guide the designer. The proper icon, etc., the designer will put. You don't need to worry about that. You can just put it from use it from Google Images, because your PPT is just for the designer's input perspective. So when you're making your PPT, you can pick up the hand from wherever you want and show your virtual tour in some slides. You can use virtual tour before every level. I think it's very important to show it. In comparison creators, I actually there were three levels. I had the virtual tour before the first level. I also had the virtual tour before the third level, but I did not have the virtual tour after the second level, because I thought first and second level are quite similar. So I did not have any virtual tour after the second level. So it's not mandatory to have after every level, but it is mandatory to have virtual tour in game, because otherwise there is no way that the child will understand what is to be done. So the recommended thing is to have virtual tour before every level, and it's a small virtual tour of 5 seconds. Sometimes it's 10 seconds. Mostly it's between 5 and 10 seconds, so it's not a very complicated thing, but it just quickly tells the child how do you play this game. So that is the purpose of the virtual tour. It is mandatory, and I repeat, mandatory for you to have a virtual tour in your game. So I think, so that there is no confusion, it is mandatory to have a virtual tour before your game. uh, Critical, super critical. Okay, and now why I use the word not mandatory here, it is because I was saying it is not mandatory before every level. Okay, it's not mandatory before every level, but it is mandatory before the game, and it is recommended that you also have it before every level, so the child doesn't get confused. Thank you very much for listening to me on this lesson, and I think we are good to go for the next lesson. Thank you very much, and I hope that you use the virtual tours properly so that the child can understand what is to be done. Thank you.